All right, what's up, everybody? Wraith Rome TV. Make sure to rate, like, and subscribe. Hit that bell icon. Get your favorite beverage. Get what you need. Come enjoy the show. Your favorite commentator is back. Better than ever, baby. Like a locomotive. Here we are. I need to address something because it was asked to me on social media and in my DMs on X and Facebook and things like that. Why are my wrestling reviews only 30 minutes or 15 minutes? Because I got other things to do, ladies and gentlemen. I have streaming to do. I have other videos to get to. There's so much news and stuff that I want to talk about. This channel is a multiverse channel as far as talking gaming, tech, sports, wrestling, things like that, right? So you got to understand something. Yeah, right now I'm talking mostly wrestling and gaming, but sometimes I'm going to talk sports. Sometimes I'm going to talk about my Lakers. Sometimes I'm going to talk about the Angels, the Dodgers, the whole nine, right? So I have a lot of things and I try to keep things flowing and moving so I can make more content. I'm already on the next video. As this is uploading, I'm already on the next video. You know what I mean? I'm trying to upload as many videos a day to get as much traction as I can. There's so many news videos I want to talk about. There's so much in the wrestling side of things that I want to talk about. And then that's not even including I have a secondary channel down below in the description, more Wraith Realm TV, where I talk about controversial stuff and things like that. I'm working on videos for that. So, and then I got to stream and then I got to fit all that in. It's like I can't give everybody everything that they want. You know what I mean? I got to be me. So at the end of the day, I got to be real with you. You know what I mean? And I'm not like all those other wrestling channels out there that could spend like 5, 6, 7 hours that dedicate their lives to covering wrestling. I'm not that. I have so many different interests in the world. Like I like sports. I like the Olympics. I like video games. And I want to give different pieces of myself on my channels. And I can't do that if I'm talking wrestling all the time. That's why I didn't like about Rascalz Night. I spent more time talking about wrestling than I actually did gaming and other things. So I'm trying to like make a mixed bag and a mixed match of stuff on this channel. So, like I said, you're getting a little bit of everything. If you are a wrestling fan, obviously you're probably a gaming fan. So, and a sports fan and whatnot. So I'm giving you little different pieces of me and what I enjoy. You know what I mean? And you get a live stream in on top of it. So it's like it's a win-win situation, really. So just keep that in mind when you come to watch my channel. I'm not trying to be like the big names out there. We all know who I'm talking about. I'm not trying to be them. I'm trying to be me. Like, I'm not trying to do any fancy editing, and I'm not trying to do where I do jump cuts and I go to the next article, like, look, I would rather separate them to make it easier on you as a viewer experience instead of having all at once and then spending 40 minutes talking about all the news in the world as one conjumbled video when I can make so many videos and I can get more people and engage more different audiences across the world and abroad. So that's just me being honest with you. When it comes to my wrestling reviews, I'm kind of like Sports Center. I kind of go da 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 and just get to the highlights, get to the point. I'm not like, I don't need to go into the whole tribalistic shit. You either like AEW, you like WWE. I don't give a fuck what you like. At the end of the day, I like what I like. You know what I mean? And it should be the same with you guys. You like what you like. You enjoy what you enjoy. We're all wrestling fans. We all have different experiences when it comes to things. When it comes to Collision, Dynamite, WWE, MLW, CCW, JCW, we all like our own shit. And that's the glorious part of being a wrestling fan. There's so much out there to watch, so much out there to see. So I just went on a tangent. I wanted to address my DMs real quick. Why I only do short form videos when it comes to wrestling reviews is because it's easier on you. I don't want to waste time. I'm off to the next video. I got to get to streams. I got to get back to streaming. I haven't streamed in a minute, and I got games to beat. So probably next week, you probably won't be getting wrestling reviews from me. Or if you do, it'll probably be short, quick reviews from me, most likely. So just expect that from me. And I'll do my best to, get to every show I could possibly get and watch what I can watch. You know what I mean? Because I got a back catalog of video games and I got a lot of time next week and I want to get back in the swings of Twitch streaming and start building the empire back again. So there you go. Anyway, again, look, I'm going to say this about AEW Collision. It was better than mid. That's what I'm going to say. It's a little bit over the mid tier. I'm not going to say it was the best show on the face of God Green's Earth. Even that AAA show that just happened, I'll talk about that too on this channel. It wasn't, as great, but it's better than mid. I will say like this show is a solid C average or B minus. Same with the AAA show, same with the WWE all week long. I feel like everybody's building up for a pay-per-view, and they're kind of just building up the talents they need to build up to make them look strong going in. And that's what you see with JetSet Rodeo. That's what you see with the Young Bucks tonight. That's what you saw with Tekla. That's what you're seeing with, and then to me about Collision is you're trying to build young stars. I wish they would have let the Swirl win anyway, but I get why Matt Jackson did win and Nick Jackson and the Young Bucks, and they did the whole VTE trigger. And I get the whole Rascalz versus FTR. They got to build FTR up, and it comes at the expense of the Rascalz. I actually like the new version of the Rascalz outside of Trey Miguel. Trey Miguel did not need the Rascalz. The Rascalz needed him. To me, Wesley and Zachary Wins, they're great on their own. They're great on their own. Trey Miguel is going to be fine on his own. He's going to be a mega star no matter what he does. He's too good of a talent, and I didn't think he needed the Rascalz to be great. That's my personal opinion there. But the Young Bucks did win this match. Again, I like Blake Christian. I like Lee Johnson. But again, when they bring in Ring of Honor people, Ring of Honor notoriously lose. That's how Tony Khan kind of books. I honestly wish they would separate writing staffs. I wish they would do kind of the WWE approach where you have a writing team for Collision, you have a writing team for Dynamite, and then you have a writing team for Ring of Honor. And, I am with Diana Peraza because I did watch Ring of Honor this week. And the reason I don't cover Ring of Honor, there's just so much wrestling in the week to cover. And then that would be like 2 reviews in one day for me. I'm trying to find the courage and I'm trying to find my happiness with TNA because TNA has kind of sucked the last 3 weeks and they don't know what they're doing. And it feels like WWE light. And I've been trying so hard to figure out if I want to review them or not because their show's kind of been like mid, like we're saying abysmal at best. But again, the Young Bucks, to be honest with you, it was a good match. Don't get me wrong. Swirl is good. They're good on Ring of Honor. But when you bring them over to Collision, you just have them lose. And it's like, what are we doing with Diana Peraza? Diana Peraza is complaining in podcast about how she's being booked. So, like, at the end of the day, we got to do something with that. Like, there's things that AEW, Tony Khan could be doing a lot better. And I feel sometimes Tony Khan gets complacent just as much as Triple H does with some things. Now, here's the thing about the women's division. Please, for the love of this holy, bring back Dr. Britt Baker at this point. They need some more talent. I'm glad to see Thunder Rosa back. I'm glad to see her going against Tekla and, having that back and forth. And can we stop the whole separating of rosters at this point? Like, main talent that's coming back. Can we put Thunder Rosa on Dynamite and vice versa and let her be part of that TBS? I think if Thunder Rosa stays healthy enough, I think she's almost 40, right? If she could stay healthy enough, honestly, she could be TBS champion. If she could stay healthy enough, Ring of Honor champion. I think she could throw in Athena real quickly. But she needs to stay healthy. Her back's not been healthy, and whatever psychological injury she had recently has not been good. So at the end of the day, like, Thunder Rosa needs to stay healthy. And I really hope. And now with Sheeta coming possibly back with her visa situation being kind of coming to an end with Riho, those two being back in the States will be a win-win situation. I really do believe that. Another thing, Britt Baker, bring her in. Britt Baker says she wants to be in AEW, but if they're not going to utilize me, then I'll just be doing everything else. And that's a waste of a talent there. Camille's another one that's a waste of a talent. I think, this is where I say both shows should have A and B titles. I do agree with that. I like what SmackDown and Raw do with titles, but, again, I'm going to be told, like I've always been told by passionate wrestling fans, oh, AEW has too many belts. If you had the same belts on the other show and you make it 3 hours and you're kind of copying WWE, no, I'm just asking for, can we just have 2 different shows and let's have it being, let's feature talent that needs to be featured? I'm just saying. And can we get Ring of Honor actually on a weekly television basis? Maybe YouTube, get off this streaming shit and having to pay for it and just get it on HBO Max or something so people can actually watch how good Ring of Honor is, because I feel like they're wasting away Ring of Honor. Just personal opinion with that one. Again, Josh Alexander and Claudio Castagnoli with Marina Shafir, and Josh Alexander had Lance Archer. Look, at the end of the day, the same way I feel about Claudio. Great match with Josh Alexander, the neutralizer at the end. 1, 2, 3. Josh Alexander's good stuff. But can we do something with Josh Alexander? I feel like they signed him for a shit ton of money, gave him what he wanted, and then we're not putting titles around him. He should be TNT champion or national champion. You're making the Don Callis family be like your NWO. Can we literally do something with this faction? Make them win belts. That would be nice. They won't. Like, I think, also too, El Idolo. They had a segment with El Idolo and MJF from House of Glory. What the fuck are we doing with that? El Idolo lost. Why is he cutting the line and being a thorn in MJF's side? To me, you lost. Work your way back up to that. That's where I think El Idolo should be in the national title. They need more people for that national title. Stop putting like the demand in these trios matches. They don't need to be in the trios matches. Tony Khan, take GOA, the demand GOA, put them in your tag team division. You need tag teams right now. Christian and Lee Johnson, put them in your division. You need people. Where's Private Party? Like you had them come back and you didn't do anything with them yet. They're going to walk into WWE, and, the thing is, they need tag teams. They're losing tag teams. And the Rascalz, my thing is, they don't need Trey Miguel. Trey Miguel is his own entity, and he's good at what he does. He's great for TNA. I think he's going to be in WWE sooner than later, NXT. I do. I believe that. But they don't need him. They have a good thing. But don't make this into a trios act. Tonight, they were kind of like making them into a trios act. The third guy that they have, put him in like TNT champion. The national title. National title could be your fucking cruiserweight division, and you can make it off the chain. But you choose to do nothing. And then Jungle Boy. We're going to run it back with Jungle Boy again. You're going to probably have him win that title. But please, they make titles, and they don't do anything with them. If you're going to have so many titles, do something with each one. Don't make belts to make belts, and then don't do anything with them. It's like Ring of Honor. They have so many belts over there. That's why you see Diana Praz go, I haven't had many defenses. I'm holding a paperweight title. Anyway, Claudio Castagnoli won this one. Megan Bayne versus Bianca. Again, I did not care for this. This was another squash match. Megan Bayne, I love. I'm a big fan, but they aren't doing anything with her properly. I'm sorry to say this. You put her in squash matches, and with Penelope Ford as her manager, and it's like Penelope Ford does not need to be with Megan Bayne. Period. Point blank. Period. Megan Bayne is good on her own. She is literally a badass. She's a Rhea Ripley. I don't know why we are treating her like mid. She should already be your women's champion. She should already be your TBS champion. Shit sakes. She's another one that can go over to Ring of Honor and beat Athena there. Athena should be on your main roster at this point. Why are we have her in Ring of Honor all the time? I have no clue on that one. Athena should lose the belt at this point. She should be over on the main roster stuff. I get why Monet's not on television. I get why. Monet is taking a long absence. She's filming things. Being on podcasts with Marina Shirakawa, defending her belts with other stuff. And I like the way they're presenting. And look, Monet ran her course. So it's good to see AEW doing the right thing. That's where you bring in back Dr. Britt Baker. That's when you run back stuff with Monet and Britt Baker, or you can run back certain things. Like, this is where I don't understand about AEW at times. That's just my personal opinion. The Death Riders, John Moxley, Pac Wheeler, Yuta, versus the Don Callis family, Kadeshita, Mark Davis, and El Colon. I'm going to be real here. I'm going to be honest. The Don Callis family defeats the Death Riders, which was expected because they're pushing the Death Riders to be more of a face group. And this match was good, but the Don Callis family, they're building to be a brute force faction, kind of like an NWO. And to me, I think Kuneshe Okeshita and Okada are going to face each other eventually here this year. I think there's going to be a turn. I think Konosuke Kashida is going to be face coming soon. And I think I think he's amazing talent. I think, look, this is a guy you could put a world heavyweight title on. I don't know why they're not pushing him the way the way they are. I think New Japan got it right when he won the cup and then he won the belt and then they did a lot of things with him. I think they should do this in AEW with him. I think Kashida could be world heavyweight champion, TNT champion. There's many things they could do with him, and I feel like they've dropped the ball with him. And I just feel like Japanese talent, and this is me coming from New Japan or Noah or any of these places. I feel like America and the way WWE is constructed and the way that certain wrestling entities are, they don't know how to book. They seriously just don't know how to book for wrestling talent to save their soul. Like, I just don't. Shinsuke Nakamura is just one that I shake my head going, Shinsuke, go over to AEW, have a back end of your career, and do something better because it ain't it, Chief, in WWE. That's the same way I feel about AJ Styles. Now people are speculating AJ Styles may not be going to AEW. I just think they're putting all this facade up, making kind of like what they did with Adam Copeland. When Adam Copeland left WWE, they thanked him for his service. They had tributes. They had this, that, and the third. And then he went over to AEW. I think the same is going to happen with AJ Styles. I may be wrong with that one. But again, the Don Callis family, again, the Betha Rabs were backstage cutting a promo. And then, Penelope Ford. And can I just say this tonight? The Baiths of Rabs. Sorry. The Babes of Wrath. Let me say that in English 4 freaking billion times. Harley Cameron was hot tonight. Just saying. Harley Cameron, man, she's coming in on her own, man. She's looking like top tier. I'm just saying. Hot, looking good. And then Julia Hart versus Thunder Rosa. And let's just keep it real here. Thunder Rosa defeats Julia Hart. Julia Hart's taking these major losses, man. I feel like Julia Hart has literally gone down tiers when she was formerly a TBS champion. I feel like the disrespect is real towards her. That's my personal opinion. Again, a Thunder Driver to end it, and it was 1, 2, 3. I mean, I love the Julia Hart, and her faction that she's got going on with Tekla, and I really, 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 really enjoy it. But again, and Sky Blue, I should say, they need to do better with this stuff. Like Tekla, I get why they put the belt over her because she came in, she was a top tier star in Stardom. I get this. And when and where were you going to push that? But they should have done that with Megan Bayne. Megan Bayne was in Stardom, then she wasn't in AEW, then she was developing her talent. Why are we not pushing her too for a TBS? I think that's what they're going to end up with. I think Chris Stanlander is going to lose, and then it will be not Chris Stanlander. It'll be what's her name? Willow Nightingale losing, and it'll be Megan Bayne being your next champion. I hope so, because again, I'm really tired of Willow Nightingale winning everything. It's time for new blood and stuff like that. So we had a title elimination match, and the Rascalz defeated FTR. I was really surprised by this. Really surprised. Again, match was fantastic. It had everything I wanted it to have. With Myron Reed. Myron Reed, again, and I said this earlier about the Rascalz. He's the third guy. Let the Rascalz be tag team champions. Have Myron Reed be a national champion. Be perfect. Their gimmick is good. I like the 420 thing. They are funny. They are good shit. This match was good. But Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood, FTR literally underestimated the Rascalz. The Rascalz are good shit. They were good coming in. They could have gone to WWE. They could have gone anywhere else. They went to AEW and they're shining. Look, Trey Miguel, I know people are going to tell me in my comments, Trey Miguel, made the Rascalz. Yeah, but he also made himself. He doesn't need the Rascalz. The Rascalz needed him. And Desmond Xavier, formerly, Wes Lee of WWE, he can also shine as his own self. And then you can put Myron Reed there. with Zachary wins. So you could swap off and have these guys become literally singles champions at the same time of being tag team champions. This was the glorious part of having 3 guys coming in, you know. So, you know, here's my final thoughts on the show. The show was mid. I wish they would do a little bit more on featuring talent better and stop the squash matches. Let's keep it real, right? And I feel like my personal opinion on AEW every week is you have these star-studded dynamites on a Wednesday. Can we forward that into Ring of Honor? Can we forward that into Collision every week? I think, you know, like, I think a brand split, a roster split, I think different titles on different shows would do dividends for AEW. They have too many titles and they're featuring way too many titles. If you separate them on different shows and you made it differently and gave it a different vibe and different feel, make Collision more for the youth, then you made more for older talent, like kind of like what WWE does now with Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. Kind of in that vein. Where I think SmackDown is better than Raw, and that's just my personal opinion there, and I've said it on my own SmackDown review this week. But again, like I said before, I would like to see more of AEW go that way, because Don Callis family, you have too many factions. You have too many cooks in the kitchen. And by the way, if you think I'm crapping on AEW, no, I like AEW more than I do WWE at the moment. But SmackDown, on the other hand, I feel it's giving AEW a run for its money. And I feel sometimes MLW, Chef's Kiss. It's one of my favorite promotions right now. Like, you can't tell me any difference. And in fact, I like train crashes and plane crashes and dumpster fires. I like JCW, Gigolo Championship Wrestling right now. And I've also been like Limitless Wrestling. I've been liking a lot of different wrestling organizations, to be honest with you, lately, because it's different. And not everything is the mainstream stuff. Some of you guys need to go out and watch some of the other stuff out there. I'm just saying. Anyway, I'm going to leave you guys with this one. This show, I would say, is a solid. I'm going to put it in the same vein as SmackDown. I think it was a 6, 7, 5, 7. I don't think it was like the greatest show on earth. But like I said, I'm not going to rank these shows per week because all of them are basically the same. They're all getting ready for pay-per-views. We already know who the top tier guys are, who's going to be wrestling on what card. We can all predict that shit. And it's plain simple as that. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out. And let me know down in the comment section what you guys thought. Anyway, I'll see you.